Do you want to use this one?
Please. Thank you.
Introduce us to the Agenda National to investigate biodiversity and the database. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello to everyone. Finally, the last presentation, I was a brief introduction for our institute. I don't know if you listen in Enviromental or National Institute of Biodiversity. Maybe if you raise the hand, you listen about that institute? Not? A few ones? Okay, no, it's more interesting than that. Thank you very much for inviting us to be part of this symposium. It's very important for us to be part of the project. Enviromental is an institute was created in the year of 2014 by the national government, and we are ascribed to the Ministry of the Environment. And in the process of creation, absorbed the Museum of Natural History and the National Herbarium. This is a big news. This is a good news because both institutions has a big experience in research, more of 30 years in research, in expeditions, and has a specimen collections. And now we are in charge of that collections. And since 2016, Enviromental is one of the public institutes of research here in Ecuador. And right now, currently, our staff is close to 50 people. 70 of them are researchers, are specialists. Sorry, my English is awful. Sorry for that. Oh, what we do? Continue research, the basic research, in terms of conservation, biology, evolution, ecology, fills the information and conservation gaps here in Ecuador. And also, as said before, we're in charge of specimen and taxonomic collections. Right now, there are more of 200,000 specimens, both animals and plants. And now, we're in charge of a lot of projects with access to genetic resources. And since 6 months ago, we started a project called Biodiversity Database, because our researchers has the data in the notebooks, in the Excel fact sheet, well, in different formats, in different computers, and there are a lot of mess. It's totally mess, that management of information. And we are also technical support to the local government. That brings to do more of monitoring evaluation projects in every kind of ecosystem part of here in Ecuador with a lot of kind of species, flag species, endemic species, and also we are starting a citizen science project because it's very important to involve the society and also to get more data from them. And finally, one important thing is the diffusion and the environmental education. In December of last year, with the Ministry of Environment and the Secretary of Science and Technology, we designed and published the National Agenda of Research in terms of biodiversity. Why this is an important thing? Because in this country, there are a lot of priorities. Depends on the university, the researcher. There's no document that establishes priorities from both academic and policymakers. For that reason, the national government wants to do this agenda to look what is the priorities as different scales and make advantage in that reason. For example, make grants for researchers, create capacity building, and another kind of things. The aims of this agenda is to establish research priorities in terms of biodiversity as a tool for the bio-knowledge, conservation, and the change of productive matrix in Ecuador. This agenda is very simple, has 3 aims. It's very simple. The first one is continue to generate information, yeah? The second one is, as Nina said in the first slide, we don't know what is the impact of negative effects in the biodiversity. For that reason, this is the second aim. And the third, the last one, but not least, the use, the sustainable use of the biodiversity, the bioprospecting, the traditional knowledge, the benefits of the biodiversity to the development of the country. These are some examples of this agenda. In the first aim is, for example, establish the national database of biodiversity or the biodiversity database, or create a national bank of genetic resources. In the second aim, sorry, is try to determine like climate change, pollution, alien species, invasive species, like that factors affect the biodiversity. And the third is study the use and the potential useful of the species on different finds, and the monitoring of the populations of a lot of species that be useful for communities or for the universities. In this agenda, we are create in the same time a network, Red Bio, Red Nacional de Investigación sobre Biodiversidad. Red Bio is a network of different actors, university, NGOs, a lot of entities, even individual researchers, to improve communication, establish partnership, capacity building, access to grants. Because this is continue the big problems in the research here in the country. And this network is try to improve that solution. Who can become this network? Everybody. Everybody can research in this country can become of this network. It's a very simple process. Just fill the document and send an email, and right, it's done. How we do it? Okay, the first one is establish, sign agreement, MOUs with university, with local government, with, finally with everybody here in Ecuador. We are more of 50 agreements with national entities and foreign entities. Then support relevant government programs and projects, improve research tools like the biodiversity database, linking INABIO programs to global initiatives or regional initiatives, facilitate research to another entities. This is very important. You know, or I don't know, maybe a lot of people here know the big problem that get access or get the authorization, the license to get research, to conduct a research project. In INABIO, we established a framework contract, and there are a lot of universities, a lot of entities to belong to this framework contract, and we, as INABIO, facilitate the research. We in charge to the old bureaucratic process to the Ministry of Environment, Secretary of Science and Technology, and every entity of the government. Free access to relevant information in different ways, not just publications, also policy briefs, database, and anyway, in different ways. Linking science to policy. This is a big problem because, for example, in this morning, on this day, how many times the project mentioned the involvement of the local government or the policy makers? I don't know where is the best time to involve that actors, that policy makers in the project. Will be a problem, yes, but it's necessary. Because the policy makers, especially the local governments or the national governments, has a lot of power, but not have the knowledge. And this is dangerous. It's time to establish a bond to that actors to improve our research, and the policymakers make real policy to improve the problems. This is the INAVIO biodiversity database. It consists in those topics. First of all, as said before, the information was available but in different ways. The first one to fix that problem is establish a standard, the Darwin Core standard, that offers a straightforward and flexible framework for complying biodiversity data from varied and variable sources. But after that, or before that, we can fix the data in terms of geographical location, the taxonomy, for establish a good framework, and then the software. The software we use Symbiota. It's developed by the botanists, and Symbiota is an open source content management system for current specimen observation-based biodiversity data. Here are examples for platforms that create, not just in Ecuador in scale, global scale, but just with both components, the Darwin Core and the Symbiota, there's open access software, we can link with these platforms. Right now, our platform consists in 3 million of collections of records, observations, specimen, but it's more 3 million of specimen of records. Is available in a couple of months for everyone. Here's an example. You want to get information about any locality. Just draw a polygon or a shape in the map, and the system show you all the records that has the database, and you just select what collection, what platform you must select to your analysis, and you can get the data to your exercise, to your project. In a couple of months, it's available for everyone here in Ecuador and the entire world. Why we do it? Because Ecuador is a mega diversity country, but with a lot of problems, environmental, social problems, but biodiversity is a strategy sector by the national government, but it's just in a paper, just in an instrument, just in some political document that don't use it. The development and innovation, this process is not fully ready yet. Ecuador is a poor country in terms of scientific production. The university and industry, his ways are different in a lot of ways. Strategy information or data is not available, and few opportunities and capacity building access to grants. Here are 2 platforms, global platforms, GeoBond and IDBES. There are good examples for bond the science to policymakers. But in all reports, there are no Ecuadorian publication or Ecuadorian scientists to add or report information to that reports. That is our mission as INAVIO. Establish this bond from you, to policymakers. Thank you. Any question?
Questions? Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm glad that some professionals, that some prepared people are working in our ecosystems, our Ecuadorian ecosystems. My question is, that if you believe that communities and society must be involved. Thanks.
Thank you for your question. Absolutely, absolutely. There are a lot of projects that involve society with poor knowledge of research, science, biodiversity, but we are a lot of interested in involve these kind of projects and deliver a lot of information that used in big projects, NASA, an NGO, a lot of entities that use that information. On the other hand, if you don't involve that people, how you wait that change your mind to add in this world?
Yeah, I wonder if you have thought about implementing something like the Atlas of Living Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we are talking with the the Brazilian Institute, Chico Mendes. They start to change to the Atlas of the Australia. There are a lot of problems. We want to just start with this system, and then we can move to another system very easy. But yeah, keep in mind that possible move in the future.
I mean, maybe people want to go to the restaurant, but one more question. Just a few sentences, like, because we also considered it. What were the main problems with implementing the software, the database created for Australia, Living Atlas?
There are a few ones. First of all, we are fixed in any step. First of all, is the servers, for example. Inavio is a lot, in this year, buy and receive a lot of the servers, but there is necessity to establish a mirror and a backup on the web. There are a lot of problems when you talk with a national institute, a public institution here in Ecuador, because we must use open source system software, and that was the first problem. And then is establish a truly system with universities, because universities don't believe in any project comes to the government. They have reason, but someday, hope so, we change that.
Okay, if then, there's another question.
Yeah, it's just a recommendation.
Yeah.
Symbiota has a part of private software. Yeah, mainly I think the main private software is from Google. Is the part of Symbiota that shows you the collections. The example you show us previously, and this is based on Google API. And
really?
Maybe you need to change that for the government laws reasons.
It's a good recommendation. I don't know that. Maybe behind that.
No. Okay.
Hello. There was recently a paper by the Brazilian Academy of Sciences, and there has been also a paper by written by a few scientists in Science, that the paper in Science says, like, when the cure kills, when the cure kills. And these papers are mostly about the extreme paperwork and extreme just red tape that scientists have to do in order to do science. And this is acute in tropical places where the most of the biodiversity and the needs of science exist. And I know from a few friends that there has been even criminalized, you know, like they are scientists and they are prosecuting them for collecting insects or things like that. And so from your point of view, from the point of view or in your institution, like, do you foresee that Ecuador is going to change in this extreme paperwork road that we have chosen to follow?
Yeah, I hope so that things change and quickly, because we need that. The Ministry of the Environment, with a good intention to establish a very bureaucratic process, but is not useful for anybody, for the rangers, for the scientists. And we are working with the Ministry of the Environment at the Secretary of Science and Technology, and we are working in another system, very fast, very useful on the web, when you can just put the days from your needs, you need the mobilize the specimens, and don't wait for the answer from the director or the province director of the Ministry of Environment, for example. We are working in that. I hope so fix it very soon.
Okay, and thank you very much again. I think we had really a great inaugurational symposium with all of these associated projects and interesting talks on, and I hope you enjoyed also the breaks and the chats with scientists from different universities, and I'm looking forward to very fruitful collaborations, and I'd like to thank you all for coming, and particularly those who gave a presentation and asked questions and stimulated the discussion, and I hope that many of you may join us for dinner and that we see each other again in the future. Many thanks.